My name is Michael Menasgotz, and in this video I will be reviewing the triangle numbers found in John and Acts and the discoveries made by both Joe Atwill and myself which reveal the intended meaning behind those numbers, which is something that previously was unknown. People have wondered about these numbers for centuries, and we can now understand why they are there. Triangle numbers are easy to understand. It's very well known that in John and Acts, several numbers are mentioned which are surprising in that they are these high-value triangle numbers. A triangle number is simply one which, if you arrange it as dots, it forms a triangle, a solid triangle. So 3, 6, 10, 15, all the way up to 666 and beyond. These are all triangle numbers. John refers to 153 fishes. That's surprising because it's a triangle number. It refers to 300 denarii coins. Again, that's a triangle number. Acts refers to 120 people and then to 276 people. These are all triangle numbers. And most famously, Revelation refers to the number of the beast. That's a triangle number. One of the most important. If you were to find a number that relates to threeness in the most possible ways, the number 666 is an excellent candidate for that. I've coloured them blue if they are ordinary triangle numbers. I've coloured them red if they're a special type of triangle number that I'll explain in a minute. And I've coloured them green if they're another special type of triangle number. As an example, I'll take the number 21, that's a triangle number, and I'll explain this concept of triple triangle numbers, which appears to be very important. The number 21 is not only a triangle number, but its circumference, when drawn as a triangle, is also a triangle number, and its side length, in this case 6, is also a triangle number. So it's a triangle number in 3 ways, and that makes it special. There are very few triple triangle numbers. If you work upwards in sequence, the first non-trivial triple triangle number is 6, then 21, then 666, and finally we've got what I'm calling triple triangle pair numbers. That's another type of special number. Again, 666 is special because there are 3 ways that you can add triangle numbers together to arrive at it. That's very unusual. But the lowest one is 276, the next one is 406, the third one is 666. Those are the 3 types of triangle numbers I'll be referring to: ordinary triangle numbers, such as 36, triple triangle pair numbers, where they can be arrived at in 3 ways by adding 2 triangle numbers together, and triple triangle numbers where the number itself, the circumference, and the side length are triangle numbers. It's well known that the Gospels, certainly John and Acts, they seem to allude to God having some kind of threeness. In modern terms, that's the Holy Trinity. John and Acts seem to go out of their way to promote this idea, and one of the ways is simply by this large number of triangle numbers. The 4 that I've described are very famous because they stand out, but there's actually many more. John has the first 5 triangle numbers within it. That doesn't seem very surprising. They're low numbers, so you would expect to see a lot of low numbers. Acts also contains the first 5 triangle numbers. Okay, that's interesting. And then we get to the number 21, which is the next triangle number. That's one of the triple triangle numbers. It's interesting that its side length 6 and circumference 15 are going to crop up when I show you how the number 21 appears in Acts. It's perhaps less significant that John has 21 chapters, but it's more interesting that Acts has 21 triangle numbers in groups of 15 and 6, and which are its own circumference and side length, number 21. And Acts also has 21 numbers relating to the number 3, again in groups of 6 and 15, which are its. I'll just go back a slide to there, and you can see the number 21 is a triangle number. Its circumference is 15, which is also a triangle number, and its side length 6 is also a triangle number. There are 21 triangle numbers in Acts grouped into groups of 15 and 6, and there are 21 numbers relating to threeness in Acts, also grouped into groups of 15 and 6. And that tells us that triple triangle numbers is an intentional feature in Acts. Next, we've got the 2 3-digit triangle numbers in each of John and Acts, and this is famous. It's been observed on for centuries. at face value, it's just a way to emphasize the importance of the number 3, to suggest that God is threefold. Here are the two examples. John refers to 153 fishes, that's the 17th triangle number, and 300 denarii coins, that's the 24th triangle number. Acts refers to 120 people, that's the 15th triangle number, and then to 276 people, that's the 23rd triangle number. Take all of those together, it's clearly interesting. There is something going on. This is more than you'd expect by chance. At the beginning, I talked about triple triangle numbers. Those are ones where the number is a triangle number, its circumference is a triangle number, and its side length is a triangle number. And the first non-trivial example is 6. And we find that immediately near the beginning of John, where we've got the number 6 coming up in one of the miracles of Jesus, the first miracle in John. So we're looking for the number 6, but 6 in isolation would not be interesting if you simply said, look, there's the number 6. So we're looking for the number 6, but in conjunction with its circumference and side length, that's 2 and 3. And this is the first non-trivial triple triangle number, so the number 1 could also be significant. So the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 6 in conjunction. And that's what we find in John. At the beginning of John, we've got his first miracle, 6 jars with wine. The jars have a volume described specifically as being 2 or 3 measures apiece. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 6 in the same miracle. And the reason those numbers are there is because triple triangle numbers as a concept is intentional and the author knew about them. The next one in the sequence of triple triangle numbers after 6 is 21. That is the next triangle number whose circumference is also a triangle number and whose side length is also a triangle number. 21 turns out to be very important. Acts contains 21 triangle numbers and 21 numbers relating to the word 3 or third. And in both cases, they're arranged in groups of 15 and 6. Those are the circumference and side length of that triangle. Having already seen the same thing with the number 6, we're seeing it again with the number 21, which is the next triple triangle number. And we already know because of the book of Revelation that if the next triple triangle number is 666, this could be something that we're interested in. The next way that John and Acts allude to threeness relates to the inner angle of all triangles, which is 180 degrees. Everybody knows this. People in the first century would have known this too, because the numbering system, the 360 degrees in a circle, dates back centuries before to the Babylonians. And it turns out that these numbers 300 and 120 are absolutely related to the number 180, because if you were to try to choose some triangle numbers that add up to 180, well, there aren't any, not if you want just 2 of them. If you want to multiply 2 triangle numbers that arrive at 180, there aren't 2 that do that. If you want to divide 2 triangle numbers to arrive at 180 exactly, again, you can't do it. And the only option is to subtract. The triangle numbers 300 and 120 are the first pair of 3-digit triangle numbers which can be used in a simple sum to arrive at 180, which is the internal angle of all triangles. So that explains at a stroke 2 of the 4 obvious triangle numbers that have been commented on for centuries. And realizing that it might be to do with the number 180, the internal angle of all triangles, that led me to understand why the number 153 is there. That's the number of fishes that Jesus helps catch. It turns out that once you realize triple triangle numbers are important, there is a sum by which you can add 3 numbers together involving some triple triangle numbers to arrive at 180. Only one sum at all, and that is 6 plus 21 plus 153. So knowing that triple triangle numbers are involved, such as the number 6 and 21, enables us to realize that 153 is there because you add them together, you get 180, the internal angle of all triangles. So again, it's a riddle about threeness. It's all to do with evoking the idea that God is threefold. So the next concept we get to is this idea that there are only a few triangle numbers that can be arrived at in 3 ways by adding 2 triangle numbers. One example was 666. The first example, the lowest number that this can be done with, is 276. And that's one of the 4 famous triangle numbers that appear in John and Acts. The fact that 276 is there and that it is the first triangle number with this special property And certainly knowing that the third one is 666, that tells us what's going on. Again, it's about emphasizing numbers that have a huge and powerful relationship with the number 3. If our sequence in both cases leads to 666, and all the other numbers are found in John and Acts, why haven't we found 666 in John and Acts? Why is it only in Revelation? That's a puzzle. But we have to remember that Revelation was written later. So at that time, Revelation hadn't been written. Revelation is trying to answer a question. It's trying to provide a revelation. Therefore, we could look at whether John and Acts provide the puzzle that Revelation reveals the answer to. That would explain why 666 isn't in John and Acts. And I think I have the answer. I'll show a Venn diagram here of the different types of triangle numbers that are involved in these books. We start with two of the famous ones, 300 and 120, and they are there because they are the lowest pair of 3-digit triangle numbers that can be used in a simple sum to arrive at 180. Then we've got a third famous number, which is 153. It's there because it's the only triangle number that can be combined with triple triangle numbers, 6 and 21, to arrive at 180. Again, the internal angle of all triangles. Next, we've got 276 people in Acts. That doesn't point us to 180, so what is going on there? That choice of that number helps us see that it's there to point the reader towards triangle numbers that can be arrived at in 3 ways by adding triangle numbers together. And then we've got the numbers 6 and 21, which we've started to realize are actually there because they are triple triangle numbers, and they're emphasized by including their circumference and side length in the riddle as well as just that number. Right, so next we've got triple triangle numbers themselves. The sequence goes 6, 21, 666. So we know they're important because we've seen what's going on with 6 and 21 and the numbers underpinning them. So that's what's in common there, 6 and 21. Now we can turn to the triple triangle pair numbers. These are the ones which can be arrived at in 3 ways by adding triangle numbers together. 276, 406, 666. So the puzzle is to first understand why the triangle numbers are there, and then to see if those ones are about the internal angle of all triangles, why are these ones here? Once you've understood that, and you've understood that it's about triple triangle numbers and triple triangle pair numbers, you can then see that there is something that they have in common, those 2 sets of numbers. So let's look at what Revelation says. It doesn't actually say that the number 666 relates to the devil or Satan. It says, "This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. It's the number of a man, and his number is 666. It doesn't say the beast is evil. It doesn't say that the beast is the devil. That's later church tradition. It's been accepted as the normal way of thinking about that number of the beast, because certainly Revelation describes the beast as scary. It describes it in world-ending terms that evoke perhaps terror in the reader. But there's a difference between being powerful and scary and being evil. It doesn't say that the beast is evil. So this whole doctrine we've got around the mark of the beast, the number of the beast, assuming it has to do with the devil, it's all just been built up over the centuries, and there's nothing in the Gospels or the New Testament that says that this is the case. I would suggest it's actually talking about this threefold nature of God, what we nowadays call a Holy Trinity. So let's go back to that Venn diagram and see the thing that these 2 approaches have in common is the number 666. And the reason you'd pick that number along with 180 is because of its relationship with 3ness. 180 is undoubtedly important to the number 3. It's the internal angle of all triangles. 666 not only has 3 digits, all of its digits are triangle numbers. It's a triple triangle number. It's the 36th triangle number, and the number 36 itself is a triangle number. And the list goes on. There are multiple ways we can link 666 to being related to the number 3. These, for example, are 2 further ways. For example, it is a triple triangle number, and it is a triple triangle pair number. So in all of these ways, it's the most 3ness of all numbers that you could possibly find. And that's intentional. The author was very clever. clearly had done their research into how you could evoke the number 3 in riddle form. And I think that is effectively the solution to the riddle that Revelation tried to reveal. For centuries, people have talked about these triangle numbers in John and Acts. They've never been explained. Certainly the choice of those numbers. Why 276? Why 120, 300, or 153? Why are they there? Why are those ones chosen? So it's never been understood. It was actually Joe Atwill who brought us a long way towards solving that riddle. He expanded on the known ideas about these triangle numbers and built on that. And I've built on his work as well. So the solution, 3 of them, of course there's 3, 120, 153 and 300. These all relate to the number 180, the internal angle of all triangles. It's trying to suggest there's a divine threeness in the nature of God. Another 3 of them, 276, 21 and 6, these relate to particularly unusual types of triangle numbers that are very rare. You wouldn't think to look into such ideas, but once you do, you can see that they relate to those ideas of triple triangle numbers and triple triangle pair numbers. So those 2 sets of numbers, what they have in common is the number 666, and that's the most 3-related number you could envisage, which again is another way of us alluding to a threefold nature of God. So it's trying to promote this idea in hidden riddle, which was to be revealed later, and Revelation provides the answer if you know what you're reading. So that text in Revelation 666 is the number of the beast. It's something to do with threefold divinity. Certainly, if you look at the earliest church inscriptions, actually the symbol they used wasn't the cross, it was the triangle. It was incredibly important. And we can start to see some of the things that they may have known at the time, which perhaps have been lost, as to why these numbers are there and why it's all about a threefold God. Certainly that idea hasn't been lost, and we have the Holy Trinity as a result. But the association between the number of the beast itself, and the devil is church tradition and seems to be somewhat off the mark. So that brings me to the end of this presentation, talking about the triangle numbers and how they have hidden meaning. What's actually far more interesting is that my research led me to discover other hidden information that enables us to prove who actually originated the gospel story, probably where it was written. And it's extraordinary that the evidence I've found enables me to prove this, as well as to understand some of the reasons behind why the gospel story was written in the way it was. So I would refer you to my 14-minute video describing that, and my longer 1-hour video where I overview the evidence and the discoveries that I made. So thank you for listening. Please do like this video, please share it, and please subscribe.